Hey guys, welcome back to my art desk. Today we're opening the July 2023 Paletteful Packs Box and making some art with whatever's inside. So let's get started. Okay, first thing I see is a couple of miniature canvases. Okay, this one's got a magnet on the back. It's a little square. It's a decent size. Oh, there's another one down here. Okay, so I've got 3 miniature canvases. These two are just regular and rectangle. This one is magnetic and square. Those are tiny. I don't think I've ever painted something that small. We have a big package here. A little easel for... I love that. That's so cute. Okay. Oh my gosh, there's more. How many little... Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm trying to get to this big package down here, and there's just tons of little canvases. We got so many. Oh, there's another magnetic one. And then this is the big one. It's so big. This is a 4x4. And we got 2 black ones. Ooh. We worked on black last month, and it was really fun. So I'm excited. This is cool. Look at them all. I love tiny little things. Okay, is that all of them? I think so. Okay, I've never seen this before. Dynaflow, concentrated vibrant colors, a paint that acts like a dye. Ooh, another Posca pen. We got Posca pens last month, but this is a much smaller fine point in the color black, so we'll be able to do some line art with that. Oops. And 2 paintbrushes, a nice flat brush, nice and tiny, good for our tiny little canvases. And a very, very small little round brush. I feel like we usually get the same size round brush every time we need a paintbrush in the boxes, so it's kind of nice to get something different. They're so cute. Okay, is that everything? We got our sticker here. Oh, that's cute. Okay, so I want to play around with these a little bit before I go on to the miniature canvases. So I just have this canvas panel sitting around in my studio. I'm just going to swatch everything, blend things together, and kind of see how these work. They are very fluid. And the package also said that they were transparent, so I expect to be able to see through them very well. Yep. Yes, you can. So that might make for some fun layering and stuff. That is such a pretty color. It's like the same color as the plate. It really brings out the texture of the canvas. Let me bring it up a little closer, because the ink is settling down into the tooth of the canvas. So there's more ink in the divots than on top. So it makes it so you can see that texture really well. Wow, a little bit goes a really long way. Let me try some bright orange. I guess I only need like a drop is all. Ooh, this one might be a little muddy because I still have some blue on my brush. There we go. That's what it's supposed to look like. Although the mix together is a really pretty color too.
What I'm doing here is really just experimental. I'm just seeing how the dyes work together, how long they take to dry, how they move when I add water, and if I can get them to lift or if they're stained, and see how they layer on top of each other, what kind of color mixes I can get. This is really an important part when you're trying a new art supply, because different products work different ways. So it's really good to know what you're getting into before you start making any art with it. I did find out, which I'm glad, that I can't just blow dry these like you can a watercolor. It just moves the dye across the canvas and all of the colors will bleed together. I'm really glad I found that out before I started making my art.
So I've sketched out a couple of ideas for the first prompt of the month, which is poppies. I was either gonna do like a Georgia O'Keeffe style, like really up close to the flower, or something Wizard of Oz and the Fields of Poppies. See, everything's very translucent, so if I paint all of the grass first and then try to put a red poppy on top of that, the red and the green are going to combine and make a really ugly brown, and it's not going to be that vibrant poppy that I want. So I might sketch out first, that way I can kind of keep everything separate. I think I want to do the close-up now that I'm thinking of how these are going to layer. I'm going to start with the background.
For my first mini painting, I started off by adding a little bit of green with just a tiny dot of bright orange to kind of muddy up the color a little bit, make more of like a sap green rather than that super bright green. And I'm painting the background, but I'm going around any of the areas that I want there to be a flower because, like I said, the green and the red would mix together to make a really ugly brown. So I'm just kind of being careful of my edges. And then I'm going in with the color Scarlet and starting to paint in the bright red poppies. And then once that first layer of the poppies was dry, I went back over it again with the same color, but because these are translucent, the color slowly builds on top of itself and the colors will get brighter. But I also thought it made for a really cool, like translucent petal look, I guess. I'm not really sure what to call it, but I knew in my head what I was going for and it was starting to come together really pretty. So once I had all of the dye laid down where I wanted it, I went in with that really fine Posca pen and started doing some outlining. I wasn't going for anything super realistic, kind of illustrative, kept it pretty fun, and I added a little bumblebee in there as well, just to fill in a little extra space.
Okay, so the next prompt that I'm working on is the word spicy. And I think I'm gonna do a bottle of sriracha sauce. Sriracha sauce? I don't know how to say it. So I'm gonna be using primarily this bright orange, chartreuse, and maybe a little bit of the periwinkle even. I'm doing another one of these 2x3 canvases. So I'm just gonna do a quick little sketch and get started.
This second mini painting was pretty straightforward. I drew some guidelines just so I could keep everything in perspective. I decided to do like a shelf of the sriracha sauce, and I didn't really have to do a whole lot of color mixing because that orange was the exact color that I wanted. The green was pretty much the exact color that I wanted. I kind of just mixed those two up with a little bit of that blue in order to get the background color. But yeah, this one was pretty straightforward, and actually I think my favorite of all of the mini paintings that I did. I kept the details really vague because the canvas is so small. I can't really get a whole lot of detail in there anyway without using like a toothpick for a paintbrush. But I think that the sriracha bottle that I'm painting is pretty iconic enough that you can recognize what it is even without all the little details. And again, once the dye was all on, I added just a little bit of line work just to kind of define some of the edges, but didn't do a full-on line art for this one. Mini canvas number 3, the prompt word was small, so I decided to draw a lineup of pencils and have one that is just sharpened down to the nub. You know that one, it's your favorite pencil. but that little pencil has had so many great ideas come out of it that I decided to have a bright rainbow coming out the top and the bottom of it. Use the same process as the past few canvases, where once the die is on, then I go back in with the Posca pen, do a little bit of line art, and that is canvas number 3. For my final canvas this month, I chose to go with the larger 4x4 canvas. It's still really small, but I kind of had more of an idea for a scene for this one, so I wanted that little bit of extra space to try to get my idea to come across. I wanted to do something kind of like the cover of the movie Jaws, where there's a girl up above the water, unaware of the dangers below. This is a personal fear of mine, and because the prompt word for this final one was octopus, I decided to go that route. So I am drawing a girl in her inner tube, and then I'm going to be doing some seaweed down below with some tentacles coming up to grab her. Because this is a scene with some water in it, I decided to play with the fluidity of this die and kind of let things mix together so there's no really stark edges once you get below the line of the water. If I were to redo it, I would probably not let the seaweed and grass come quite so high up. I probably would have tried to, have maybe 2/3 of the water be just the pure water and then the grass come up to about the 1/3 line, but it doesn't matter, it's fine. And then once that first layer of dye was dry, I went back with the octopus tentacles and started painting those in. I had to wait until it was dry because if I tried to paint these tentacles right on top, everything would have just flowed together and you wouldn't have been able to see anything. So it was really important that everything dried first. And then again, once all of that was dry, I went in with that Posca pen, did a little bit of line art, and I ended up using one of the white Posca pens from last month's box because everything was just getting a little too dark. So I just went back in, added a little bit more detail, added some clouds, some ripples in the water, stuff like that. It just needed a few of those final touches, and there it is, the final mini painting. So here are my final 4 mini paintings for this month's Paletteful Packs box. We have the little poppy with the bumblebee, the line of sriracha sauce, the small pencil with the rainbows coming out, and the octopus hiding in the seaweed. Leave a comment down below, let me know which one was your favorite or if you would have done anything differently. If you enjoyed watching this, please give it a thumbs up, it helps other people find my videos as well. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.